Hey everybody, welcome back to another Summit Conversations video. I am coming to you with just days to go before our Membership Momentum Summit kicks off on Monday. And this week, I did something that I've never had like the foresight or extra time to do before, something like that. And I created an in case of emergency plan for the summit. And it shouldn't have taken me 13 of my own events, hundreds of client and student events to think to do this. But I think when you're in the thick of summit planning, you're so focused on making everything fun and perfect and just like the basics of it going right that you're not sitting there thinking, okay, but what if everything goes wrong instead, right? But what I have learned over the past 10 years of running summits, webinars, challenges, basically any important event, if there's a bunch of things that could go wrong, something will probably go wrong. And I wanted to start by sharing a little bit about the emergencies that we've dealt with in past summits to kind of paint the picture of what this could look like. And then I'm going to show you the emergency planning document that I made for our summit. So the first example that came to mind for me when I was thinking of this, what has gone wrong in our summits before? First one that came to mind was 2020, right? COVID hit the US 2 weeks before my summit was supposed to start. And the day before our summit was starting, we got the call from daycare saying we're closing. So suddenly I had my 3-year-old, very clingy 3-year-old, home with me, no daycare, no backup, no nothing, right? We're all freaking out. Grandma can't come over because we're all, you know how it was. And I'm trying to manage this 4,000 person event while being a full-time mom. And that was a lot. I wish there would have been a plan for that. That might be one of those things that is impossible to plan for, but still would have been great. Another time during a summit, I got the flu and lost my voice during a summit. So I was down in bed out of commission with live events that were supposed to happen. And also losing my voice has become kind of a theme for me. It's happened during webinars, challenges. When I'm even a little bit sick, my voice goes. Sometimes I know I'm getting sick because all of a sudden my voice is gone. So it's something I just need to plan for. It's silly of me at this point to not plan for it anymore. During our last summit in February, Kate's internet went down, which forced her to work from a coffee shop with pretty questionable Wi-Fi. We've had tech issues pop up at the worst possible moments. We've had family emergencies come up. And I know other summit hosts who have had pretty major family emergencies happen, big health issues of their own, babysitters cancel last minute, you name it. It has happened. So this year I finally sat down and created what I'm calling our summit backup plan. And honestly, just having it written down has given me so much peace of mind going into this event. I know that if something happens, there's a direction I can take. And if I'm not available, my team knows what they need to do. And I'm hoping that we don't even have to open this document after I finish with this video today, but it's here if we need it. So I'm going to walk you through some of what's in there because my hope is that it'll be helpful for you too. So first up, what happens if I am unavailable? Maybe I'm sick, maybe there's a family emergency, whatever it is. We have a plan for that. So Kate is kind of the one who would take over any of my duties that she's able to. Tech stuff, community engagement, things that need to be done like that to keep the ship running basically. Each day during the summit, I have historically written a daily recap email, and I like to write those live. So I'm just in the moment and in the energy. And I decided that, hey, either Jen or Ellie could write this if needed, or they could just skip it. And when I showed them this, they were actually awesome. They're what if we just write it for you this week as a template? If you are able to go in and update it next week, you can do that. And otherwise, we can update it and send it. I was oh, great idea. So they actually made my plan better. But point being, this is something I was planning to do the week of. We're going to have a team member do that instead, or we also identified this as something we could skip if we needed to. And then I went through every live session that I was supposed to be a part of and outlined what would happen if I couldn't do this session. So a lot of our sessions, our challenge sessions and our webinar and things like that, we have replays from previous times we've done similar events. It wouldn't be perfect, right? There would be some references that didn't make sense, but people would rather have something than nothing. So we'd round up those replays and send them out. For any session where someone else was going to be on, basically I was going to introduce them and let them take the lead, they would just introduce themselves, right? They would lead the session with Kate there to back them up. Really, there's nothing that would have to be canceled completely if I was out of commission. We have a backup plan for everything, which is really nice. Next up, what happens if Kate is unavailable, which we did have happen in our last summit. Basically, we would have my team member Jen, who would pick up as much as she's able to with emails and community and tech and things like that. We'd have a different team member come in to support me during live calls. There's some calls we wouldn't even need support on, and I would handle the community. And then we did something similar for any of our team members who are leading calls or on calls, like including our panelists. For this session, this hot seat session, which is run by Ellie, I couldn't run that. We don't have someone else who could run that. So we're like, okay, that session would be canceled, and she'd record her feedback for people once she was able to, right? We have some kind of backup plan. It's not ideal, but we know what we do. For a lot of other calls, I could reach out to replacements. I could lead them instead. Some of them just aren't a big deal. So we made plans for every single call. What happens if the leader can't be there? Then we went into tech issues. We gotta love tech issues. This has never happened before, knock on wood, but if Zoom didn't work, we have a backup plan for that. We would switch to using a platform called Butter. We would update our calendar event and our reminder links and the Facebook events and all the things. We'd update attendees with the new links. Everything that would need to happen would be done. Would it be annoying? Absolutely, but we know what we need to do. If Kajabi went down, I'll be honest, we would do some crying, some banging our heads on desks. There would be some frustration, but we have a plan, right? If we couldn't send emails anymore, we would utilize the heck out of our Facebook group, and we'd see if we could start a plan on a different platform and get things running over there. Since making this plan, Kate now has a daily task to export all of our attendees each day. So we're always going to have a fairly up-to-date list of everyone registered for the summit in case we were to need it. Same thing if the website went down. What else can we use? If we had to, we'd upload our presentations to YouTube, make a nice ugly Google Doc that links to them. It could be as easy as that, right? The priority would be the attendees can still get access to these videos. We'd pretty it up from there and, figure out a better way to do things. But overall, we have a plan for what we need. We made a plan for me getting locked out of Facebook. That has happened before. I have gotten locked out of commenting and posting during a summit before. So Kate would take over the engagement. So these are the kinds of things that have happened before that we're planning for this time. So making this plan doesn't mean that I'm expecting failure, right? I'm still expecting very great things. I'm just going to be prepared in case something doesn't happen, in case something does happen, so I can still give a really great experience and have a good experience myself, okay? And this doesn't mean you should be even more nervous to run a summit than you are. It means you should be prepared, right? Be a responsible host who cares about delivering an amazing experience, no matter what life and tech throw at you. And if something goes wrong, now you can pivot at least somewhat gracefully. Instead of freaking out, you can still have and give that really great experience. So I hope this was helpful and has your wheels turning about different things you can prepare for. For Summit in a Box students and Launch with the Summit Accelerator clients, I will be adding this backup plan template to the program when I have time, so you can create your own version. And then speaking of the summit we created this plan for, Membership Momentum is kicking off on Monday. It's going to be a really incredible week focused on building and growing sustainable and profitable membership. So you can grab your ticket at summitinabox.co/summit. And that's what I have for you today. So I am curious to know if you have ever had a summit emergency or an event emergency, something that just went completely sideways during some kind of live event. Let us know what it was and how you handled it. I think it would be fun to both just be all right, I'm not alone, but also learn some stuff from each other. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.